Welcome to the Season Long Podcast in support of the YouTube channel SeasonLongBaller. Happy to have you with us, and I hope you're having a great start to your week. So, taking a look at last week, we had a historic beginning of the week. We'll talk about that. As you know, the Wizards went 1-2, unfortunately. Jaymont Summerz did have an explosive first game of the week, which was the main reason the Wizards won last Monday, as the Wizards defeated the Boston Celtics 100-72, lost to the Hawks on Wednesday 78-65, and also fell to the Miami Heat on the road 77-62. But the big story last week was Jaymont Summerz' historic game against Boston at home in Washington, as Summerz exploded for 51 points, a career high. Blew that out of the water. The former career high we had was 33, so not even close there. But a historic night in terms of Summerz hitting 15 three-pointers, which is the most in an NBA game, as Summerz went 15 for 19 from three-point distance and 16 for 20 overall. But again, the big story, Summerz scoring 51 there, and the Wizards getting the big 100-72 victory. As you see, overall, the Wizards shot relatively well. Kuzma was the second leading scorer with 13, and Daniel Gafford was also in double digits with 11. The Wizards were 61% from the field overall, a ridiculous 73% from three-point distance, led by Summerz, 16 out of 20, of course, as the Celtics were only shooting 47% from the field, which isn't terrible, and 41% from three-point distance, going 9 out of 22. Again, that's not terrible. The Celtics were 7 out of 11 from the charity stripe, but when the other team is shooting 73% from distance, it's going to be hard to win that game. The Wizards scored 100 total, and as you know, we only play 6-minute quarters on Season Long Baller, and the Wizards scored 37 points in the fourth quarter, as Jaymont Summerz went 7 for 7 from deep in the quarter, and you can actually see the highlights of that on the YouTube channel as well. We'll have a link of that down in the description. The Wizards, however, that was the high point of the week for the Wizards, unfortunately. Following that up, the Wizards hit the road to take on two Southeast Division opponents, and those opponents started off with the Atlanta Hawks, a 78-65 loss to the Hawks. The Wizards only shot 44% from the field after that, blazing over 60% against the Celtics, and then only 40% from distance, going 10 out of 25, as the Hawks shot 49% from the field and 10 out of 22 from distance, as the Wizards took the loss. Now, Jaymont Summerz came back to earth. I mean, that was inevitable. Didn't shoot terribly from 3 out of 6, 8 out of 15 overall, and finished with 25 points, so a little less than what he had than what we had in the previous game. But the rest of the Wizards were not as good. Nobody else scored in double figures, as you see. Jordan Poole had only 9. Avdia also only had 9, and those were your two second leading scorers, with Jordan Poole going 3 out of 9 from the field. For the Hawks, they were led by Trae Young with 24 points, 10 out of 18 from the field, 2 out of 5 from distance, and DeAndre Hunter, who scored 11, going 4 out of 7 from the field, as the Wizards took it on the chin, 78-65. 2 nights later, the Wizards traveled to Miami and lost to the Heat in South Beach by the score of 77-62, in a game that the Heat were pretty much in control the entire game, and Tyler Hero had his way with the Wizards. Again, Wizards shot even worse, 38% from the field, 23 out of 60, and only 33% from distance, going 9 out of 27, while the Heat were 11 out of 20 from distance and 10 out of 11 from the charity stripe to defeat the Wizards 77-62, and the Wizards took 2 straight losses there in the division, so that's pretty hard to take, especially this early. And the Wizards then fell to 2-3 on the season. Tyler Hero, as I mentioned, had 22 points, 8 out of 13 from the field, and 4 out of 6 from deep. Bam Adebayo was your second leading scorer for the Heat, with 16 points, going 6 out of 13 from the field. The Wizards were again led by Jaymont Summerz. Again, we scored 25 points for the second straight game, but not quite as efficient, going 8 out of 17 from the field and 3 out of 7 from deep. Kuzma was the second leading scorer with 12 points, 5 out of 12 from the field. So this leaves the Wizards at 2-3 as we head into the new week, and that is good enough for 10th place in the conference right now. 0-3 on the road, 2-0 at home. and significantly 0-2 in the division. So that's something to keep an eye on. And the Wizards have not been under 500 a lot during the Jaymont Summerz era. A matter of fact, we were never under 500 at all last season, as the Wizards won their first 2 games of the season and were never under 500. But this season it's already happened twice, losing to the Pacers on opening night to fall to 0-1. And now with this 2-game losing streak, the Wizards are 2-3. Jaymont Summerz right now leads the Wizards and leads the league in scoring. No surprise there, buoyed by that 51-point outburst against the Celtics. Summerz is averaging 29.2 points a game. And I think if you could translate the stats from NBA 2K23 to NBA 2K24, I think it would be fair to say that Summerz would be in the running for most improved player, as strange as that may sound. Summerz is also top 10 in rebounding, averaging 6 a game. Clint Capella from the Hawks is leading that category with 7.2 rebounds a game. And again, just a reminder that we do play 6-minute quarters in the league, and those stats are across the league. The entire league is playing those 6-minute quarters. And right now, Summerz is 4th, actually, in free throw percentage, shooting 96.2% from the charity stripe. Now, we always talk about how bad our defense is, and Summerz is leading the league in most points given up. Not a stat I am proud of course, and one of my goals this season was to try to get better on defense. Summerz right now leads the league in points allowed at 12.7 points given up per game. You will notice that Jaymont Summerz has won Player of the Week consecutive weeks, opening week and last week. Summerz again was buoyed again by that 51-point outburst, and then the consecutive back-to-back 25-point games. Summerz is your Player of the Week in the East both weeks, and you see Stephen Curry and Joker are your Players of the Week out west. Now, taking a quick look at the Wizards, some of those other stats, Daniel Gafford is leading the team in rebounding at 6.8 a game. Summerz, as you may notice there, is second at 6 rebounds a game. And Gafford is leading the team in blocks. Again, not much of a surprise there, averaging a solid 1 block a game. But that is down from last season when he was coming off the bench behind Kristaps Porzingis. He was averaging about 1.4 blocks coming off the bench, playing less time. But now I think being the primary defender on the most dangerous big man for the opposing team, he's only getting 1 block per game. Summerz is leading the team in steals at 0.8, or actually is tied with Tyus Jones, the backup point guard, with 0.8 steals a game. So not quite 1 steal per game. And Summerz is leading the team in assists at a solid 4 assists per game. So taking a look at next week, but before we go taking a look at next week, let's take a look at the Jaymont Summerz Play of the Week. And I wonder what that could possibly be. I could think of at least 15 options.
Summerz has now tied the record. Summerz with 48 and has not missed this quarter. 2:34 to go. I mean, this is a game for the ages. I mean, Tatum misses. Should I just end the channel today? With Banton on me. Summerz launches. Banton tried to stop, and Summerz drops it. Great release. Summerz nails it. Summerz has the record. I can't top this.
All right, as I've joked on the game itself, I don't think we will ever do better than those 51 points. So maybe I should just end the channel. I should have just ended the channel last Monday, right? So taking a look going forward, later today, hope to have you for this game. The Wizards will be taking on the Philadelphia 76ers. The Wizards will be looking to get back to 3-3. And one thing of note, during the Jaymont Summerz era, we have never lost more than 2 games in a row. Right now, the Wizards are on a 2-game losing streak, so we will see what happens in the 76er game. By the way, Joel Embiid is injured, so he will not play in this game, and James Harden, in our simulation right now, is still with the Sixers. Obviously, in real life, he has now been has been traded to the Clippers. We'll see if we can make that adjustment in our league, but for now, in this game, he is playing for the Sixers, and really he will, along with Tyrese Maxey. be the Sixers' primary threat in this particular game. Also of note, we are not playing the NBA in-season tournament. Now, that's my fault because I missed the check mark in NBA 2K24 that would say, play the in-season tournament. I did mean to play it, overlooked it, did not see it, and that's why you do not see me playing the in-season tournament, even though some of those games are still the games that you would be playing in the schedule. But that's why you don't see me playing the in-season tournament. And I have big pride in the fact that we stay on course with the Wizards schedule, and hopefully that will be something I don't overlook next season on NBA 2K25, but that's way in the future. In the immediate future, again, Wizards taking on the Sixers a little bit later on today. Then on Wednesday, the Wizards will be taking on the Charlotte Hornets. We got back-to-back with the Hornets home and home. Wednesday in Charlotte, Friday in Washington taking on the Hornets. And right now the Hornets are winless, so maybe the Wizards can take advantage of that. And then next Sunday on November 12th, the Wizards will be taking on the Brooklyn Nets on the road, and that will be our second ever live stream for Season Long Baller. Hope to have you there for that one. There will be we'll do what we call a shoot around earlier in the day, and then we'll play the game and the live stream at 7 p.m. on Sunday, November 12th against the Brooklyn Nets on the road. Okay, so that's going to do it for this edition of Season Long Podcast number 36. Thank you for being with us. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and we will see you a little bit later on today against the Philadelphia 76ers. Peace.